guys, Howard here with finding chords in any key on guitar, quick and easy. Now I have a few lessons online here on my channel talking about the theory behind this, but what I wanted to do in this lesson is just show you how to do it again, quick and easy on guitar without getting bogged down with the theory, okay? So we're just going to use the guitar, the fact that it's a position-oriented instrument, meaning you can play something here, and you can play it here, or here. And the fingering never changes, the lick or the riff never changes, just where you're playing it on guitar, okay? Now this is a really simple approach. All you have to know is two patterns, how to find it off of the 6th string and how to find it off of the 5th string. So let's get started. I'm going to choose the key of G simply because it's sort of center on the guitar, if you know what I mean visually, okay? So you do need to know your bar chords for this, although you don't really have to be able to play them super well because you're just using the visual to help yourself out, okay? So let's say we start with a G bar chord. So we are in the key of G major. Now we're going to move in whole steps. We're going to move from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret to the 7th fret. The first chord is going to be a G major. The second chord will be an A minor. The third chord will be a B minor. And then we're going to move to the next string, the 5th string, using the exact same frets and moving in whole steps. But this time we're going to play a major chord, C major, a D chord, D major, and then an E minor. So what we have so far is so those are your first 6 chords that belong to that key, found easily, quickly, and conveniently using the fretboard. Once again, major, minor, minor, and then major, major, minor. Okay? And then we want to move another whole step, staying with the A string, to the 9th fret. And from there, we're going to play the diminished chord, in this case, an F sharp diminished. And then finally, just a half step above that, back to G major. There you go. There's all your 7 chords that belong to that key. Now, that applies to any key on the guitar starting on the 6th string. If you wanted to figure out the chords for the key of F, for instance, you would simply start with an F chord and do the same thing. Whole steps, one whole step here, and then finally a half step to get the octave to the F chord. So we would have this. Any key on the guitar, B flat. Okay, so as you travel up the fretboard, you get into the key of C and D and so on, it might get a little cramped up here, right? So it's a good idea to know how to find the chords for any key off of the 5th string, the A string, and this is how you do that. So we'll use the key of C for this one, okay? So we want to form a C major bar chord at the 3rd fret. And remember, the pattern was major, minor, minor. So we're going to move in whole steps again, from the 3rd to the 5th to the 7th fret. And we will play a C major, a D minor, an E minor. Now, what we want to do from here is we want to move to an F major chord on the 6th string. Now, how you spot this is really simple. Here's your first chord, right? So your next chord is going to be right here. It'll be a whole step and move up to the 6th string. So you're going to move from the C to an F, okay? That's all you have to remember about that little step, so to speak, okay? So once again, we have C, D minor, E minor. And then we want to move to F major, G major, and then A minor. So you can see it's just ditto what we did off of the 5th string. So it's a major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. And then your diminished chord in this case will be a half step below that root chord, below that C chord. And then back. So that's how you find all the chords in a particular key off of the A string. So for instance, if you wanted to do the key of D, we would do this. Exact same move, right? In D. Okay. Now you may be asking yourself, what use is this, Howard? Well, it's actually of great use because songs are written in keys, right? Most songs are written in a particular key and they stay there. Knowing what the chords are allows you to understand what's happening in the song, what's happening in the music more. And also, if you're trying to pick the song off by ear, if you can spot the key just by running a few simple patterns on the guitar, you'll already know what the chords are, or most likely what the chords are being used in the song, okay? Now, you can take it up a notch from there. You know, you can expand the chords, but the basic formula stays the same. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. But if we refer to the key of G now, what we started out with, we can modify those chords, right? The basic premise stays the same. We had G, 2 minors, 2 majors, minor, diminished, and finally the root chord again, right? We could make these all 7th chords. We could play a G major 7 instead, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7, a D dominant 7th, the 5 is always a dominant, E minor 7, then an F sharp minor 7 flat 5, or what is commonly called a half diminished. And then right back to a G major 7. So you might be wondering, how do you find the chords in a minor key? Well, it's really simple. Let's use A minor as an example. So we start with an A minor chord at the 5th fret. And the minor chord is followed by the diminished chord in its relative major key. I don't want to get too theoretical, just these shapes and patterns, that's all you need. So we start with a minor chord, then our next chord, which is going to be the diminished chord, will be at the 2nd fret on the 5th string. Now this is really all you need to remember. If you're starting with a minor chord, you want to go here to here, okay? Then we're going to move to C, that's the relative major, and you'll notice that the pattern is exactly the same as it was in C major. Right back to A minor, because all those chords are exactly the same. You're just starting at a different point, okay? But this is all you have to remember without getting into the theory. Spot your A minor chord, and then think of a step and a half down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip down to the A string, play your diminished chord, and that's it. That's the move. And then from there, it's just like it was in C major. That's how you find the chords for any key on guitar. Doesn't matter what key, it doesn't matter if it's F sharp, any key, G sharp. Piece of cake, okay? But what's really important, it's not even important if you can actually play the bar chords that well yet, okay? You're using the fretboard as a reference. But here's the thing that you do want to know. You want to know the note names on the 5th string and the 6th string. That's really important. You need to know that this is an F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, okay? And then you want to know them on the A string as well. B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. that's pretty good to know, okay? But that's all you need to know to figure out what the chords are, because you're using those root notes to tell you what they are. This is going to be a G major chord in G, an A minor chord, a B minor chord, a C major chord, a D major chord, an E minor chord, an F sharp diminished chord, and then G major again, okay? So anyway, I hope you guys find this useful. It's a really good thing to know, and you don't have to get too bogged down with the theory. I've got lessons on here explaining it in more theoretical detail, but this is just an easy way to do it. Whether you're jamming with friends and you just want to come up with a cool chord progression, or maybe you want to write your own song, you know, your own chord progressions. It's nice to know these patterns so that you can do just that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.